Good morning. I'm Haley Ficasello, and this is Englebrook Independent News Federal Crime Report. Today, we're highlighting several significant federal court cases for the U.S. District Court for the District of North Dakota, underscoring threats against federal officials, violent crimes, environmental violations, and major federal fraud enforcement action. A West Fargo man is facing federal charges after allegedly making online threats against top federal officials. U.S. Attorney Nicholas W. Chase announced that Andrew Walter Savick, age 47 of West Fargo, North Dakota, made his initial appearance in federal court to face a charge of influencing federal official by threat in violation of 18 U.S. Code 115A1B. According to federal criminal complaint, Savick allegedly made multiple online social media posts containing threats directed to the President of the United States, the Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the United States Secret Service. U.S. Attorney Chase stated, "This investigation is an incredible federal, state, and local law enforcement partnership, working together to investigate and safely arrest someone who allegedly expresses a willingness to commit extreme violence." FBI Minneapolis Special Agent in Charge Alvin M. Winster Sr. confirmed Salvik was arrested Thursday morning, noting the alleged threat also extended to local law enforcement officers and U.S. military. The Fargo Police Department, led by the police chief David Zimboski, worked alongside federal partners to ensure public safety during the arrest. Savick remains presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in the court of law. A Warwick, North Dakota man has been sentenced to 2 decades in federal prison for sexually abusing minors. On October 7th of 2025, Chief Judge Peter D. Walte sentenced Jordan Jaden Smith, age 26, to 20 years in federal prison for sexually abuse of an incapacitated victim and sexual abuse of a minor. Smith, who used multiple aliases, will also serve 25 years of supervised release and must comply with Sex Offender Registration and Notification Act. Federal prosecutors state the abuse occurred within Spirit Lake Reservation, and Smith originally faced 5 felony counts before pleading guilty to 2 charges involving 2 minors. U.S. Attorney Chase said the sentence reflects the seriousness of the defendant's actions and reaffirms our office is committed to protecting children. FBI SAC Winston emphasizes the FBI's mission to protect children from sexual predators, calling the sentence a step towards justice for the victims. A Washington, D.C.-based nonprofit agreed to pay $353,000 to resolve allegations involved improper participation in federal Paycheck Protection Program. U.S. Attorney Chase announced a civil settlement with the Education of Just Peace in the Middle East, doing business as a U.S. campaign for Palestinian rights. The nonprofit received and obtained forgiveness for the first draw and second draw PPP loan totaling more than $308,000, despite federal regulations barring organizations primarily engaging in political or lobbying activism for participation. The case arose from a Quintum whistleblower lawsuit filed under the False Claim Act by TIZAC Inc. Under the settlement, EFJP reimbursed the Small Business Administration, paid whistleblower proceeds, and covered investigative costs. The government emphasized that the claims resolved were allegations only, with no determination of liability. A North Dakota energy company has been sentenced for violating federal environmental law. U.S. District Judge Daniel M. Traynor sentenced Taga Barlands LLC to 3 years of probation, 500 hours of community service to Mandamin, Hidsta, and Arauca Nation, a $500,000 fine, and a federal special assessment. The company admitted it failed to timely installing required emission monitoring systems at a natural gas compressor station on the Fort Behold Indian Reservation, increasing the risk of hazardous air pollutants. Federal prosecutors note that the company self-reported the violation and has since implemented improved compliance practices. A federal grand jury has indicted a St. Michael's, North Dakota man on 10 felony charges, including murder. Prosecutors announced that the unsealing of the indictment charging D'Angelo James Hunt, age 26, with multiple violent offenses, including second-degree murder within Indian County, voluntarily manslaughter, assault by strangulation, tampering with evidence, and the use of fire to commit felony. The case involves allegations of repeated assault against one victim and killing of another. Hunt remains in federal custody. U.S. Attorney Chase emphasizes the indictment is not proof of guilt, stating the office remains committed to addressing violent crimes in tribal communities. FBI Zach Winston describes the case as a stark example of violence against Indigenous women, while Billy Kirkland of the Department of Interior reaffirms federal commitment to protecting tribal lands. These cases reflect the breadth of federal enforcement in the District of North Dakota, from threats against national leaders to violent crimes, environmental protection, and safeguarding taxpayer dollars. For Englebrook Independent News, I'm Haley Ficasello.